Hey guys, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. It's Beer 30. Let's go take a walk, see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Review. I've been looking forward to doing one of these guys' beers. This is Hardywood Barrel Aged Series Bourbon Gingerbread Stout. Now that's a mouthful, isn't it? These guys are out of Virginia. They're out of Richmond, Virginia. And they have a very small distribution that they come to Charlottesville, come west to Charlottesville, then they go into northern Virginia, and I don't know how far east they get to Virginia Beach, or if they go that far east or not, but I cannot get their beers here in Roanoke. Good friend Trevor brought this beer. He's in the Brewers Guild with me, and I seen him down at Blue Five a couple weeks ago, and he said he had some beers that he wanted me to try, and it blowed me away that he showed up this past Saturday and brought me several beers to try that I have not done before, and this was one of them. I've been hearing great things about these guys at Hardywood. I really wish that they were come just a little bit farther and making it here into the Roanoke area so I could try some of their stuff. I don't get out to Richmond too often. Don't even get out to Charlottesville too often. But I may have to make that effort and make a trip up there to gather up some of these beers. I've not heard any bad things about what these guys at Hardywood are doing. So, and this is the big bottle. It's got the corked and caged top on it. This is a big beer too. This is a 10%er. 10 point. Let me get my reading glasses on here. My eyes still ain't quite right, guys, so I'm still using these. This is a 10.6% by volume, 55 IBUs. This is a 750 milliliter. This is the big bottle. And this is 2013 release. It's got all the information you need here on there. Now, I don't think they are dating anything yet, but with a beer this big and having the 2013 release for a bourbon barrel stout, basically that's all the information you need. You don't really need, because of the style of the beer, you don't really need the month and the day. It's got the year on there. And it is an almost 11, 10.5, 10.6%er. Let me read what's on the back. I consider these guys local, even though they're in Richmond. I cannot get their beers here quite yet in Roanoke. So, Trevor, thanks again for bringing these by. I do appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be able to do some stuff. He travels around quite a bit from what I hear, and gets to pick up some stuff and has friends in other parts and other states and is able to get some stuff that I have not done yet or are able to get my hands on yet. So it says here, in taking a cue from the centuries of brewers, Hardywood Barrel Series beers are patiently matured in wooden barrels after completing fermentation in stainless steel tank. Beers in the barrel series are carefully racked into 50-gallon barrels where over several months they undergo a metamorphosis, adapting complexity and character, a bit of color from charred white oak, and beautiful mellow character that is only achieved when housed in wood. Hardywood Gingerbread Stout, described in Beer Advocate as a freaking Christmas in a bottle, and that's exactly what it says there, is an imperial milk stout brewed with vanilla beans, cinnamon, fresh Castlemont Farm baby ginger, and Bear Farms wildflower honey. Gingerbread stout is then matured in Virginia bourbon barrels where it adapts its incredibly mellow character with oak, caramel, and bourbon undertones. It emerges 12 weeks later, which is 3 months, as a bourbon GBS. A festive blend of spice character laces this rich chocolatey stout which warms the palate and the soul. Hardywood Brewery. Proudly brewed and bottled, Hardywood Park Craft Brewery in Richmond, Virginia. Pair with dark chocolate, desserts, spiced holiday pies, deep introspection, and goodwill towards others. Pour slowly into a stem glass, savor at 50 degrees. So, all the information you need right there on the label on this style of beer, guys. Really want to get my hands on some more of their offerings. So I may be taking a trip at least to Charlottesville, if not to Richmond here in the next few months. Hopefully I'll get to do that before I go on my big trip to California and check out some of what they're offering. Really, guys at Hardywood, if you can hear me, send me some beers. Beggars can't be choosers, though, and I appreciate all the subscribers that's been sending me all these wonderful beers the last couple of months. My subscribers are the best. I mean, you guys are tops. You're number one in my book. Most of these beers that are either brought to me or sent to me, the stuff that is not available here, not even close by like this one is, and I can drive a couple hours up the road and probably pick up some of these. So we're going to make an assessment on this one. I've been hearing a lot of good things about these guys, so hopefully this is not going to be a disappointment. I'm pretty damn sure it's not going to be. So Trevor seems to think it's a pretty damn tasty beer. So and he's a home brewer like I am, and we're going to find out here in a minute or two. All right, guys, like I told you, this is considered a spice, herbal, vegetable beer. I don't know why it's not considered a stout in the ratings here from these guys at Rate Beer, but that's what they're saying here. It is a milk stout, so I don't know why they're not putting that into the stout category. The food pairings for this beer says since it is a stout, they're saying chocolate and dessert beer. So I don't have a lot of desserts, eat a lot of desserts or chocolate anyway. I don't really need to with this figure that I have now with this big round belly. So I try to refrain from that as much as possible. But this would go good with a lot of very strong dishes, or like they say, with something chocolate to go with it. So. With what they're saying, something similar to like a Christmas festive beer. You're going to have all these spices, ginger, more than likely, nutmeg, and cinnamon, and all that stuff going on. So this beer will sell for a long, long time. And if I had actually purchased this beer, I would probably stick it in the fridge downstairs and probably wouldn't review it for several years, because this one's going to keep. And I can't think of anything that would be detrimental to keeping a beer like this. I mean, it's not hop forward, it's not low ABV, so if I had two of them, one of them would be put away for a long time. But since he brought me this one, I feel kind of obligated, like I tell you guys, that I need to review this in a timely manner. And I think since he brought it to me Saturday, it's a pretty timely matter. By the time this review shows, it may be a week or so later than when he brought it. I've been getting so many wonderful beer mail packages that the reviews are getting further and further behind from the date that I actually do the reviews on. So, not sure when this video is going to post. So, like I said, it may post a week or so later than when he brought it to me, but that's the way it is in the beer review business, guys. So let's get on with this one. Glassware to pint, becker, non tumbler to mug, stein to side ale or the stein. I don't know why the oversized wine glass or the tube glass is not listed there for this size of beer and this style of beer. And I don't understand why they're calling it a fruit vegetable beer when it's actually a milk stout. So kind of confused on that kind of information that they're putting out on that. And it says here, not recommended for extended cellarings. That's horse hockey. I mean, this is a 10.6% milk stout. This is going to keep for a long, 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 long freaking time. So, but this one ain't. This is getting ready to get opened. Let's get the cage off of this one. See if I got enough strength to get the cork out of this one. Ooh. Ah, finally. Had to put the vice grips on. Now let's hope this thing don't explode. That'd be very disappointing. Here we go. Ah, yes. Nice smoke coming out from that bottle. To the glass we go. We're going to pour this down the center, guys. Look at that head. This is a great big bottle too, 750 milliliters. Look at that head. 3 fingers down the center on almost an 11%, 10.6% beer. Awesome. Awesome. Over to the light. I'm not getting any at all. It is pitch black. Very reminiscent of a stout. Wonderful looking. Very tight bubbles in the side. There are a few bigger ones where I poured it so aggressive, but it's basically a creamy, frothy looking head. Not quite as brown as I was expecting it to be. Just slightly tan head on that beer. Let's get a nose on it. Definitely getting all those spices. Nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon. Slight bourbon presence on this one. Not as much as a lot of the bourbon barrel aged stouts. So I don't really know on their barrels whether they're once used, twice used, 10th used. And that would determine the bourbon quality of the beer. If this is it had bourbon in it, and this was the very first batch that they did, and it would have a stronger one rather than the 5th or 6th time they had put beer into the same barrel. A lot of that bourbon would have gone into previous batches of beer by then. But the cinnamon and the chocolate, there is some chocolate in there. But there's more spiciness into it than anything else on the nose. Now we're going to get a taste here in a second, and we'll see what we're going to get there. But the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and the ginger are really prevalent in this on the nose on this beer. It does smell kind of Christmassy. And today the weather has been kind of chilly. It's only been in the 40s and raining cats and dogs most of the morning. Had to fire up the furnace again today. It's the first time that's happened in about 2 weeks. Of course, they're calling for it to be 70 degrees in the next day or two. So, I mean, if you don't like the weather here in Virginia, just wait an hour or two or maybe a day or two and it's going to change. That's the problem we have here in Virginia. It'll go from 30 degrees to 85 and then back to 40 degrees and rainy and then back up. A lot of times we don't have a spring or a fall. It goes straight from summer to winter and then winter back to summer. Well, enough of me flapping my gums. Trevor, thanks a bunch for bringing those beers by. The lacing is already looking awesome in this glass. Let's give it a hit. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Trevor. Now the bourbon is in the taste. Bourbon, ginger, nutmeg, caramel, toffee, brown sugar. Wow. That is nice. This is a great Christmassy. I would agree with what they said. Great Christmassy. All the spices. Not like a pumpkin beer, but all the spices that you associate with the holidays, with the ginger and nutmeg and chocolate, brown sugar, maybe some allspice in there. Wasn't getting the bourbon as much on the nose as I am on the taste. It's not overly bourbony though. Wow. That is delicious. I'm definitely going to have to make a trip and get some more of these beers. And I actually have somebody that's interested in sending me some more of the Hardywood beers, so hopefully I'll get another beer mail package. But have some more Hardywood beers in it. Trevor, this smells awesome, guy. What a nose. I've not smelled any other beer that has the nose on this with the bourbon and the ginger and the nutmeg. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Not getting any of that alcohol, guys. Very well made beer. These guys are going to go far. They really are. They're basically, from what I hear, producing everything that they can distribute it in the area that they're serving right now. That's why they're not here in Roanoke yet. They can't produce enough beers to get it here. Wow, the nose is just spectacular on this beer. Now I am getting a little bit of the bourbon smell now. Wow, that is delicious. That's a big bottle too. Wow, yeah. Wow. He did not tell me what he paid for this bottle, but I'm sure it's probably a $15 bottle at least. When they put these beers in bourbon barrels and they take up space in the warehouse or in the brewery itself for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, however how long they determine they want to let this beer stay in those barrels, that makes the price of the beer go up because it's staying in those barrels. Plus, there's a whole lot of things and space that they have to provide for these type of beers to sit there that long. So that's why they're more expensive. That's the bottom line I'm going for. That's why they're a little more pricey. When you see something that's been bourbon barrel aged, it's usually going to be a little bit more than your standard version because of that. So, and like a lot of people say, you pay $15, $18, or $20 for a bottle this size. This is the same size as a wine bottle. What do you pay for a good bottle of wine? I mean, if you're buying Ripple or Mad Dog 2020, no comparison. That's like drinking Limerita or something, you know, or malt liquor. Garbage. Garbage, garbage. But if you're buying a nice wine that's been painstakingly produced, and you got to think of the time that the grapes are grown, and the time it takes to harvest it, and then mash the grapes, and then produce it, and bottle it, and ferment it. That's why it costs that. I mean, that's all labor, time, and expense, and storage, and so I hear a lot of people fuss about what the beers cost, and a lot of them are overly hyped. I mean, if you're buying something like KBS and you're paying $15 for a 12-ounce bottle, that's overly hyped. If you're buying Hop Slam and they're charging you $12, $15 a bottle for it, that's overpriced. Because they're not bourbon barrel aging this stuff or anything. It does cost a lot more to make those kind of beers, but not to that extent. So this is just my opinion now, guys. This is just what I think. A lot of that pricing goes with the hype. I mean, once you have the demand that is that great, and people seeking out that beers, and you can only get one bottle, and the stores only get one case, and a lot of times they know that, and they'll have that stipulation: you can only have one bottle, or you can only have 2 bottles. Or they don't know what they have, some of the inexperienced stores, and just like I've heard rumors, and just like my beer store over here, they get one case and nobody knows what the hell it is, and one guy comes in that does know what it is, and he goes, well, I'll take the whole case, and then he walks out with everything that's available at that store, and that's lucky for him, but it sucks for the rest of us that's trying to get a hold of at least a bottle of it or 2. So, without me flapping my gums anymore, this is a great beer so far. Look at the lacing on the glass. Awesome. Trevor, thanks again, brother. We're going to let this warm up a little bit. It's right out of the fridge, 40 degrees. I know it's going to get better as it warms up. and let the other half have a glass of it and see what she thinks of it. I know she's going to like it too. I'll be right back. We'll do the final chug and grade on this one, guys. Looks like a damn winner. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Just a little left here. Look at the lacing in that glass. This beer is delicious. Now that it's warmed up, the bourbon has made itself really prevalent. It's not boozy though. There is a slight alcohol presence to this beer now that it's warmed up, but it's not boozy. It's not boozy at all. There's a lot of other beers that I've done that are more boozy than this that doesn't have this much ABV. The spiciness, the ginger, the nutmeg, the allspice, everything works well together in this beer. I got a feeling this beer would sell her very well and probably would be more complex and more tasty in several years down the road than it is now. And them being a Virginia brewery, I consider them local, even though they're like 3 hours away from here. But I wish their beers were available here, and hopefully soon, someday here, that they'll come to Roanoke. Wow. What a wonderful aroma on this beer with the ginger and the nutmeg and the bourbon coming together. Wow. Final chug, guys. Wow. Delicious. I'm on the fence, guys, right now, between a 9 and a 10. It's got all the information you need on the label. Like I said, I consider them a local brewery, even though they're not distributed here, but they're a Virginia brewery. They're like 3 hours away. And everything that I've heard about their beers has had rave reviews, or people that have tried them say that they're awesome, and I would not disagree. This is the first one that I've had from these guys, and it's delicious. It is delicious. I don't know what this bottle costs, so Trevor, you might want to put some comments on what this bottle costs if you were to purchase it somewhere. Wow. Kind of blown away about this beer, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to 10 on the scale today, guys. It's pretty damn delicious. I do have a feeling, like I said, that it would mature well and cellar well and probably be more complex and more tasty in a year or 2 or 3 than it is now. It's not boozy, so I wouldn't cellar it for that reason. I would probably not even put it in the fridge. I'd probably put it in the closet and keep it around 65, 70 degrees and let it mature in that environment, as opposed to putting it in the fridge and capping off that continuation of everything combining and working well together. But still, this is something you can enjoy right now, fresh out of the bottle, or cellar for a little bit. So if I can get my hands on another one of these, I'm going to put it away in the closet and let it sit in there for a couple of years, and maybe review this down the road if I can get my hands on another one of these guys. So let's go see what everybody else thinks about this beer. We'll go over to Beer Advocate first, and Beer Advocate says 94, which is in their outstanding range. It is an outstanding beer. I may be a little generous on the ratings on this beer because I consider it a local brewery, and from everything that I've heard from all the rest of the beers, that they don't make a bad beer. So thumbs up to these guys for putting all the information you need on the label, and for making a wonderful, delicious beer. This is very, very tasty. Kind of proud that this is a Virginia brewery, and that they're not very old. I don't think they've been doing beers for more than several years now, and don't know exactly when they were established, but they're giving some nice compliments and some nice reviews from people that have tasted their beers. So with that being said, let's go over and see what we got the guys from Rate Beer saying, oh yeah. Rate Beer says 98 overall and 100 in the style. Pretty impressive numbers there. So I don't feel bad about giving these guys a 10 on the scale tonight. But I do have a feeling that it would probably be a little bit better if it was aged just a little bit more. The bourbon is not overpowering, so I might be concerned about it losing a little bit more of that during the cellaring, but I'm willing to take that chance if I get my hands on another one of these guys. So, with that being said, if you've had this one, they're Hardywood Bourbon Gingerbread Stout. Then the ginger and the nutmeg is really prevalent in this beer, so they did a good job on putting that in there and not being overpowering and working well with the bourbon. It's very tasty, guys. So let me know if you've had this one from Hardywood, their Barrel Series Hardywood Bourbon Gingerbread Stout. Pretty tasty, guys. So let me know what you think of it. Hit that like button, rate, comment, subscribe, and we're on a roll. Let's go see if we can get another A beer out of the fridge tomorrow. See you then.